Let's talk about pre-shot routine, okay? Pre-shot routine and intermediate target, all right? It's really important. So how you were explaining your intermediate target to me was I felt like you were looking way too far out there in order to aim this golf club. Okay, now the thing about golf is we play the game from side on. So our perception is really skewed from a lot of the time. So it would be a lot easier, right, if we could play the game from here, because we wouldn't mess this alignment up that often, okay? If I wanted to aim left, I would just move this way. If I wanted to aim right, I would move this way. However, because we play side on, and not only do we play side on, but we play with a golf club that's further away from our eye line, we have to find a good strategy in order to aim correctly, okay? Now, one thing I will say for right-handed golfers, when you're aiming correctly, at least that's at first, you'll find you'll feel like you're aiming left, okay? So I like to pick an intermediate target. When I mean an intermediate target, I want something no more than a foot in front of the golf ball to line up, okay? So if you watch like Tiger and you watch Jack, you will see them when they come into a golf ball, what they end up doing, obviously come back here and they step in and their eyes are looking at something over here. Now the reason they are doing that is because it's too hard to aim over there. It's too hard to have this little club face match up to something way out there. So what we have to do is we have to try and find something like a blade of grass or a different colored bit of grass to aim right in front of the golf ball there, okay? So I'm going to use this yellow ball as a reference for you to use as an intermediate target. So when I'm back here, let's say I'm aiming, let me see where this is lined up. So this is aimed just right of that big gum tree in the distance there. And what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to draw an imaginary line straight from that golf ball just to the right of the tree. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab an alignment stick to show you this. Right, so basically a dead straight line matching my feet here. I'm going to check this a couple of times to make sure it's correct. So that's aiming a little bit too far to the right. But this is what you're trying to do in your head. You're trying to match these lines up in your head. Okay, so that's pretty close, all right? So what you can see there is an intermediate target. So you're looking straight down that white line. So I'm trying to look something like right here would be my intermediate target, or even closer if you want. So that's a lot easier than aiming way out there, okay? Now I'm going to remove this and I'm going to use this yellow ball as a reference point. So when I come and I do my intermediate target, what I'm doing back here, I've done my practice swings, like part of my pre-shot routine is to do my practice swings, but then when I come back behind the ball as my final thing to do, I'm looking at this spot of grass right here. That's where I'm looking, right on that yellow ball is where I'm looking. So then what I do is I come into the golf ball, looking at that yellow ball the entire time. Looking at it, looking at it, looking at it, looking at it. I take my stance, I put my club down and I line up the middle of this golf club with that yellow ball, okay? So I'm looking at that yellow ball at all times, then I set my feet. And now I know that I'm aimed correctly, okay? You wouldn't come in, right, with that yellow ball there or with your intermediate target, look at it and probably aim your club over here. Okay, because you're going to see that that's left. So I really want to focus on that yellow ball, right? And obviously if that yellow ball wasn't there, I'm looking at my intermediate target. I look up at my target now because I've got my intermediate target, whatever I've got to do, and then I go ahead and hit the golf ball. Nearly shanked that, that was good. First swing of the day. But you can see how that kind of an intermediate target, right, would be how we go about hitting a golf ball in that way. So if I was to grab one more golf ball, and let's ignore the yellow stick, for example, okay, just for alignment purposes, I want to aim at the big gum tree. I would be back here, drawing a line from that that golf ball to that tree. Looking, and I'm looking like half a foot in front. I've got my spot on the ground, which is right here. That's what I'm lining up to. And now you can see that my feet are slightly open to that yellow stick, and they should be, because now I'm at the gum tree, I'm not to the right of it. Obviously to the right of it would be square. All right, so hopefully that makes sense, okay? But that's how I would go about learning how to pick an intermediate target.